Now that Mad Cleaning has a budget for its first two cost components, direct materials and direct labor, it's time to prepare the budget for the third and final cost component, which is manufacturing overhead. Manufacturing overhead comes in two different forms: variable overhead, which is overhead that the total amount is going to increase or decrease based upon if the level of production is increasing or decreasing; and fixed overhead, which stays the same regardless of the number of bottles of all-purpose cleaner that Mad Cleaning produces. So to figure out what our total expected manufacturing overhead is for the period, we need to know the rate at which variable overhead is incurred, and it's given in our information set forth in a standard by management, in this case by our advisor and by Ms. Madnoff. The estimated variable overhead rate should be $2 per bottle produced. And then for fixed costs of manufacturing overhead, we have the estimated fixed depreciation on manufacturing equipment, which will be $1,800 for the month, and our utilities, insurance, and property taxes on our manufacturing plant, which are directly related to production, therefore inventoriable, therefore need to be included in the manufacturing overhead budget, and they are expected to be $1,200 during the month of January. So for our manufacturing overhead budget, we need to figure out the total amount of overhead we're going to incur for our two different types of overhead, variable and fixed. Let's start with variable. For variable overhead, the total amount of overhead incurred is going to go up or down based upon the level of production that you have. So to figure out what our total expected variable overhead costs are going to be, we need to take the number of units we are proposing to produce, which, one more time, we're going to take from our production budget. They're making 10,000 bottles of all-purpose cleaner during the period, and multiplying it by the standard that's been set forth, the amount of estimated variable overhead the company should be incurring per each bottle of all-purpose cleaner produced, which is $2. And if they make 10,000 bottles, then each one does in fact cause them to incur $2 of variable overhead during the period. That means in total, Mad Cleaning is going to incur $20,000 of budgeted variable overhead costs for the month of January 20XX. So that's one part of our overhead. The other part is fixed. And it doesn't matter how many units we produce for fixed. We are tied to these numbers. We have already set our depreciation schedule for all of our equipment. Our utilities aren't going to change much, and our insurance and property taxes are set in stone with the people that we have to pay for them. They don't care how many units we produce. We're paying X amount of dollars in property tax each period. So all we need to do here is just copy those numbers down from the information. Their fixed depreciation is expected to be $1,800 for the month of January. Their utilities, insurance, and property taxes are expected to be $1,200 for the month of January, which means in total they are expecting to incur $3,000 of fixed cost during the month. So their total budgeted manufacturing overhead costs are just equal to their total expected variable costs of $20,000 plus their total fixed overhead costs of $3,000 for a total of $23,000. Well, let's break this down on a per unit basis. They're going to incur $23,000 in overhead costs to make a certain amount of units. How many units are they going to make? We have that. We've been using the same figure all along, 10,000. So if 10,000 bottles of all-purpose cleaner is going to cause Mad Cleaning to incur $23,000 in manufacturing overhead costs, that means that each bottle of all-purpose cleaner that they make is going to cause them to incur $2.30 of manufacturing overhead costs, found by taking your total budgeted manufacturing overhead costs for the period of $23,000 and dividing by your budgeted bottles to be produced of 10 grand.